Awesome. Okay. Hello, everyone. Today is August 15th, 2022. This is a meeting of the SIG Network Policy API subgroup SIG Network. This is a CNCF certified meeting. So normal ramble. Please be nice to each other. And yeah, let's see if we can get some stuff done today. So there is not much on the agenda for today. I just wanted to highlight that I have a website in progress to document the admin network policy API, just so that I can like publicly announce it. I haven't really announced the API in any channels yet, just because we had no documentation, and I didn't want to like throw it out there without any documentation. And in line with that, I haven't had much time to do it. I got to work on it a little bit more today. But if folks, are watching this and want to get involved, this is a really awesome way to get involved, is helping me do this. I'm kind of copying the Gateway API in this setup. But yeah, I'm definitely open to thoughts on how we can make it better, what we need to add. And I think this should be done before at least I start working on implementation for Oven Kubernetes, and hopefully Yang does for Altria. So just something I wanted to highlight.
Is this like an API or a website that'll go on GitHub, like as a README, or is this going to be like, I don't know, in the Kubernetes main, like a page or whatever?
I'm mimicking what Gateway API does, and it's just a GitHub. It's basically a website hosted on GitHub pages. So I was planning on doing the same thing. Like I literally am using the same library called mkdocs to build it, and I was kind of following their layout. It just seemed easiest to like kind of align all the APIs coming out of SIG Network to be, following the same thing.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm definitely happy to change it if you have some other cool idea of how to make this website fun. I don't know. I just
no, I
want
mean, I liked Gateway's website. Like, I thought it was pretty usable. So it seems like a good template for us too.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'll just keep working on it. I don't want to, it's not going to be super in depth yet. Hey, Per, how's it going?
I'm good. Back from vacation.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
So I'm good to go.
Awesome. I was just talking about, I'm working on a website to document the admin network policy API. While you were gone, the first draft of the API did merge, so we're kind of off to the races now. And off to the races. I haven't had much time to work on it.
So is the URL inside the pull request, or?
No, I need to figure out how to auto render it. I think I would need to add a GitHub Actions to that repo. But like right now, you can just clone it, and it's using mkdocs, so you can
Okay.
use mkdocs locally to see what's going on. But I'll put that as an action item and figure out how to do that. Apart from that, next steps are going to be kind of promoting it out to people to spread awareness. Like I think the community of folks who know about this API is pretty small. So once I get like some basic docs set up, I'm going to start pushing it on Twitter and all the necessary media outlets. I don't know. I'm an engineer, not a community manager yet. So anyway, that's where we're at there. Apart from that, this group has been really quiet over the past couple months. So I know, Dan, you may have more knowledge here. Like, at what point do we turn this into a only admin network policy working group or community meeting, and maybe like reduce meetings, or like, because I don't want to just keep canceling them if we have nothing on the agenda.
I mean, if you have nothing to talk about, then you don't need to keep having the meetings. If people come up with, if people find the need for a meeting to talk about admin network policy, then we can bring the meeting back. Or if suddenly there's network policy stuff to talk about that isn't admin network policy, then we could bring it back. But yeah, there's no reason to keep it scheduled if
there's
not useful to anyone.
Right. And there's definitely some, unfortunately, I don't have admin rights over this invite, so it's kind of annoying to go through Casey, but I can. And there is stuff to talk about with network policy. It's just a matter of if we have folks that want to own it. And that's the harder part, right? So I know, Per, you guys have been, your group has been working on kind of changing are approaching network policy differently, right? Is that something?
Yeah, so
that
yeah,
you're
so
looking at?
well, yeah, so we try to reduce, basically we want to reduce the amount of addresses that needs to be known in any given part of the system.
Right.
And with sort of a single network like it is now, it's very simple, and it can be made very efficiently. And because it's very easy today, right, to say if a pod or if an address is internal to a system or not.
Mhm.
I mean, even if you would start, as we're also looking at, sort of to be able to have many default networks, basically default network per namespace if you want, it's still quite cheap to do. But if you then start looking at, now we have this from Mishek, right, that's proposing this how to do multi-networking, call it properly in Kubernetes, then, and sort of, I really like the way network policies work, that you specify relations between objects that you have specs for, and not the addresses that gets tied to these objects later on, right? But you have this need to be able to tell first, is an address part of the cluster, regardless then of where it's attached, right? And it might not be as simple then as doing just with a network prefix, because I mean, someone could be stupid enough to have an L2 that covers not only one cluster, but many clusters and external things. So then you actually have to look at the individual address to see if it's in the system or not. So
Yeah.
I do think we're going to have a lot of discussions when we talk multi-networking to make sure that sort of the semantics of what's there, which I found, I changed my mind a little bit about 2 years ago to be extremely sound, that we can reuse that with a not too high cost. And of course, if someone set up system with not the smartest networking, the cost should be higher. But so that's what I've been sort of looking at, and I will work on more now when I'm back, really sort of to help Mishek to make sure that we can do multi-networking that then actually works in real life. So I mean,
Right.
I don't know how V6, how much V6 you worked on, right? But on any L2, you can put on as many L3 networks as you want, right? You just create new networks, and you have a router that push out prefixes, and the pods can then from one network interface get new addresses at any given time, which then should be, as I see it, reported up into the Kubernetes model, which should be possible at least to do it. So when there is route advertisements and so on, or if something changed the address because of timers and so on, that should be possible to do with the models we're having. And the way we specify firewalls with policies where we don't have to care about the addresses when we do this is, to me, it's too good to sort of do anything that would risk that way. It's more important to make sure that it can work over any interface. That
Mhm.
doesn't matter which network it is. It's because you said that this object cannot talk to this object, then I don't care actually how that packet got over.
Right. Well, it kind of sounds like a network policy V2 discussion.
Yeah. So I think we can say that the multi-networking, I don't know, I hope Dan agrees, sort of we need to make sure that the semantics is upheld. So that means that it needs to be people from all networking groups in there. There needs to be network policy experts in there to sort of make sure that we do it so that we don't break the network policies. We need to think about the kube proxy and the load balancing. So if it's going to be able to be set up to work on any network, well, that needs to have the same semantics, and also to understand that you will not be able to see everything inside Kubernetes, right? Because you can have two networks, they look to be non-connected, there is an external router. And sort of make sure then that we don't create I'd rather just have the stuff that's there now and undefined than to have something that looks like it's well-defined and explains everything, but in reality, it's super dangerous because it doesn't cover, call it real life, how systems are set up and real life networking. Then it's better to leave it undefined and say, if you're doing this, you're on your own.
Well, there's a lot undefined still.
Yeah, but so at least then sort of you say you broke the rules.
Yeah.
And sort of that's what I'm a bit scared with the multi-networking, that it's so easy to do things wrong. And if that then is designed into the system that is really easy to, with what's there, fuck everything up, then it's better to not support it.
Yeah. Totally. Cool. Well, we're here for it. I mean, we're looking, there's always once every 6 months I'm stirring about next iteration of network policy.
And you can look at everything like, is it time for a new CNI? I mean, CNI 2, networking, all of these things, like.
It's all tied together. Yeah. Totally.
But I mean, this is the last year has been my favorite group to work in, right?
Totally.
This and Kaping for sure. So
yeah, Kaping's been a lot of fun. I still like the idea of doing network policy Kaping.
Yeah,
Kaping
absolutely.
for network policy, same concept.
Well, you know what? So what we will push. We're starting the implementation now. I mean, at that time, I mean, there's too much. Network policy today is a specification, and then there is nothing, and there is implementation in CNI. And that to me is wrong. Sort of so much of it is control that should be made into something that gets contributed into Kubernetes, so that the same thing, that there should be plugins that implements the specific firewall, but the decision points, if A can talk to B, should be common code. I hope to be able to be part of at least pushing for, or sort of starting up a community project that will do that. But I think I find it a bit weird that there's not, well, Dan is here now, but has not been many from the larger CNI vendors, right? That participating and discuss this, but. I can understand, Dan, sort of you say that, no, it's not a good idea because you already have a control plane, right? But that for me is one of the sort of big weaknesses. There's too much semantics that is not part of the Kubernetes proper there.
Yeah, it's something to think about for sure.
So just a quick question on that. So I think, Per, you mentioned multi-network, right? I think, did we raise those concerns in the multi-network? I've not attended the multi-network meetings. Has the meeting been set up? Are you bringing it up?
Yeah, there's sort of moving things around, but I think now that trying to organize it more, it's supposed to be, I think it was now on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday at 11, I think.
Right.
Like I said, I just got back from vacation. It's been half an hour meeting, but I think they're extending it to 1 hour meetings now.
Yeah.
And the intent there is to really write it's a CAP, to do a CAP and propose the API objects that's needed to cover this.
Sweet.
And it's clear that we all have very different requirements. I mean, I need a system where you can represent at least 200,000 networks. So because sort of those are the numbers that we manage to handle.
Right.
And not 200. So how far do you go? Do you want to be able to represent routes? Well, if someone puts an internet router, then you push 4 million routes up there. You probably don't want to see them as API objects in the etcd. So I don't know where to draw the line there, but definitely not have the full routing table pushed back up.
Yeah, I think that would not make a lot of sense, pushing the whole. I think I think it's driven by some sort of use cases, CUJs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we should help maybe evaluate. And then I think the point that you bring up is when the multi-network thing goes, guys are going about doing their stuff. I think there should be parallel effort going on in the network policy working group to get some effort moving to see, okay, here's what you're doing. Here's how it's going to break the network policy or not break the network policy. We should have maybe 1 or 2 folks focused on it, that because if they go far ahead and then come up with a set of things, and then we find out it is going to break network policy in ways that we hadn't thought about, it would be too late, right?
So I know Tomo started to implement something, but he made the assumption that each network was not connected to another network in multi-stem. I was like, that will never work. You can never sort of make such guarantees.
Yeah.
And sort of, so I sort of, I don't know if he stopped there. He joined the multi-networking group now, I think, to see what goes on, because a lot of what's in Multus, right, will sort of be, I mean, introduced in that case into Kubernetes in some different form. But I still think that's like I don't know what maybe Dan, I mean, for me, the time track is 3 years. I don't think it will be quicker. I don't think it should be quicker, sort of to get the first parts in, but I mean, to finish everything, it's better to do it slow and right than too quick. And I mean, we build routers and load balancers and so on, and large network systems and 5G UPFs, right, using Kubernetes as a base. And so we know that it's possible. It's very possible to build with Kubernetes as a base, or we use OpenShift as any sort of network function. It's not a problem. But it's difference to do it for one implementation like we have done, right? And to do a generic that will support anyone's or any way to do it, or many ways to do it. So
Is that a new working group?
yeah, so I don't know if it's a working group yet. It started with was Tom.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll send you a mail, Andrew.
Yeah, shoot me on that. I can definitely start going to those meetings if they're relevant at all, for sure.
No, I do think it's sort of relevant, and yeah. But so I was on sick leave for a couple of months, right, and then vacation. But how is the admin policy going? It looks good.
The first V1 alpha version is merged, and I know it's been on my back burner in terms of priority this quarter, but the next steps are to finish documenting it and then actually get the first implementations done. So Yang's been on paternity leave. He was going to do it for Antria. I've been downstream a lot this quarter, so I haven't had time to start it. But anyone else who would want to get going on it, that'd be awesome. Happy to help.
Yeah.
But that's my next
quick.
plan.
So the status is you're saying the KEP is going to get merged, is what you said, Andrew?
The KEP has been merged. The API, the actual API has also
I
merged.
see.
So
I see.
we are pretty much ready to rumble. I haven't made like a general announcement about it just because we had no
Okay.
documentation. Like you go to the GitHub and it's like just the
Right.
API, and I didn't want people going there and having no idea what was going on. So I'm working on a website right now.
Yeah.
Kind of in
So,
line with the API.
So we are at Google. We are planning to do the support for admin network policy.
Sweet.
We have, so there are two options for us. One of them is to use as you know, we use the Cilium. We use the Cilium underneath the eBPF.
Right.
The data plane v2. So we're planning to implement using that.
Okay.
The second option is to work with Tigera to do the Calico implementation. So
Okay.
so our first priority will definitely be Cilium stuff, and I think we are planning to get some folks working on it. So if anyone wants to join us, let us know.
Yeah.
But it will be so the development. There will be some work going on in the KH tree, but there will be a lot of work also going on in Cilium open source stuff. That also is part of the Linux Foundation. So yeah.
So you're gonna have Google developers working on on that feature for Cilium. Yeah, definitely.
Along with some of the Cilium folks, along with
Okay.
Isovalent folks. If anyone wants to join, we are happy to
Yeah.
Sigang is on the call as well. He's going to be working on that as well.
So,
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to just reach out to us, yeah.
Definitely. I've spent the whole quarter
you plan to
looking
talk
at
something like
BPF
that
and
for-
Cilium. So
Are you planning something for KubeCon? I mean, a presentation or something?
Yang and I submitted a talk for admin network policy and it got rejected. So
Ah,
hopefully next
Really?
time.
That's unfortunate.
I heard we
Did they
got
say
really
why?
good. No, not really, but I got some inside info and said it got really good marks. There just was a lot of really good talk submittals. So, I mean, that was positive, I guess, for me. Hopefully next for maybe KubeCon.
you're good,
in a year.
but you're not good enough.
Right, exactly. It's my first try, so I wasn't too bummed. But
You need
hopefully,
an end customer, right?
yeah, I think if we have an implementation, that'll be a lot more of a spur. Like it was just very early, like here's what we have, we've merged it. Like this is exciting stuff, but it's not here yet.
So Andrew, you said like somebody, you said Yang was going to implement it in OVS. Is that what what I heard you say? Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
And do you know anyone else who's, so that we would like to make sure that we're in sync so that we have.
It's
you-
everyone in this call. I mean,
Okay.
you, me, and Yang, I think are the three people who are going to look at implementing it. I didn't know Google was interested in doing it for Cilium. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been involved in a lot of eBPF stuff this quarter, so it'd really be
Okay.
great to follow along and see what's going on there.
Did you get all the Kaping stuff to work with the eBPF or?
Yeah, we wrote the eBPF proxy for Kaping.
I knew we were working on it. I didn't know if you had finished or not.
Yeah, it's not fully feature complete, but the POC is up and done. It's merged in Tree, so that's kind of cool.
Congrats.
We've still kind of been working on it, but yeah, so happy to help out with the, or at
Okay,
least
great.
follow along with the Cilium implementation, and I'm gonna look at implementing it in Oven and see how that goes.
Does anyone have any plans to extend Cyclonus to admin network policy? As in, like we were talking a lot about the complementary tooling, and like
Yep.
to what Per was saying, like that sounds like the first good place where OSS can at least help
Yeah.
us all out. Like if we all are conformant to the same tooling, then we
Yeah, yeah.
or
I
at
mean,
least all.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge +1. I've had a PR open for a long time now to bring Cyclonus into our repo, and I'm time boxed. Like I do not have enough time to do. I can't do
Yeah.
documentation. I can't update the cap. I can't do implementations. Like I need help. Like fully and honestly, like I need help. I'm happy to work with anyone who wants to help me, but I can't be the only one doing it.
So this is Cyclonus stuff you're talking about, Andrew?
Everything really. I mean, documentation
So-
around admin network policy, Cyclonus,
Okay.
anything.
So let me ask this question. Are we planning to officially publish set of conformance tests for network policy? Is that something that we're looking at?
You mean for admin network policy?
Yeah, not just admin, like anything that's coming out of this working group. So because right now everything is like a la carte, right? Like vendors are picking and choosing what they want to implement.
Right. We haven't really discussed it. I mean, it's something if we, brought Cyclonus into our fold and then actually wrote like a set of tests that, maybe there's a baseline conformance for network policy and admin network
Right.
policy. Like I'm happy to investigate that further. I'm totally not against it. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And Rahul has a really good point. Like maybe we should be putting our effort into making some sort of conformance via Cyclonus or whatever else before we start implementing. So then we aren't all implementing different bits. Obviously different bits are going to be easier to implement for some backends. So that'd be good to align us. So I'm happy to make issues, keep going forward. I just haven't had much time for this quarter so far. So hopefully next quarter will be a little different.
And one thing on my end, I was planning on trying to get this done this week, but the stars didn't align. I wanted to come back and talk more about FQDN network policies. We did some internal surveys or like surveys with our customers, and so we had some data on what people are doing. And I guess what we want to do is, just talk through what we have and then hopefully create a survey that we can send out to the SIG network mailing list as a whole. And then armed with
basically
that data,
share our experience. Share
Yeah.
the results of what we found out internally with our customers and also general interest in the community.
Yeah, that'd be really great to get some customer data. I don't think we have enough of that here in upstream.
So we do have, it's just like we're trying to get more and
Yeah.
and obviously we have to redact the names and all that stuff, right? So
yeah, totally. But any data is better than no data. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, thanks for doing that, y'all. Hopefully that will help us drive to some conclusion. Like we have a feature, we know customers want it, but I think right now the problem is what variant of how they want it are we going to do?
Yeah, I'm hoping armed with the data, we can go back to SIG network and make a strong case for something, whatever that something is.
Totally.
But yeah, like next week, I'm gonna have make sure we have the data ready, and we'll try to talk through it in this meeting, assuming everyone's okay with that.
Yeah, totally. If you need help with any of it, just shoot me a message. I'm happy to do whatever I can.
Will do. Thanks.
Cool. Well, this is exciting. A lot more productive today than I thought it was going to be based on the agenda. Is there anything else folks would like to discuss? Questions, comments? But yeah, essentially the end of the day, like my goal is to get for admin network policy, get this documentation done, announce it, and try to get people excited so that we have some more help to work on stuff, and just kind of get it out there. So I'll let everyone in this group know when I'm gonna do that, and if we could all just push it on social media, anything that would be super helpful. So cool. Awesome. Well, let's give everyone 30 minutes back. Reach out if there's any questions, and we'll keep moving forward. Thanks so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.